It's a great blessing of Allah the Almighty that He has given us all the opportunity to gather in such a blessed gathering once again. It's a great blessing from Allah the Almighty that has given us the ability to perform the Eid Salah once again. And this is truly a blessing that we should basically embrace. And this month of Ramadan that just passed, we learned many lessons from this month. One of the lessons that we learned is the lesson of self-control. How do we control ourselves? In Ramadan, we stayed away from eating, from drinking, from fulfilling our sexual desires, obviously when one is married, etc. So we stayed away from these things. Why? Because it was an order from Allah. It was part of our fast. Now, these fasts that we kept in Ramadan, it wasn't just the fasting of staying away from eating, staying away from drinking, staying away from fulfilling our permissible sexual desires, but it was the fast of our whole body. The training that we're supposed to have gained is the training of self-control, the quality of self-control, where we are supposed to inculcate this quality of self-control in all parts of our body. So just like we stayed away from eating, drinking, etc. in Ramadan, likewise, we have to stay away from sin. We have to stay away from saying unnecessary things. We have to stay away from backbiting. So it was the fasting of our tongue as well, where we don't say unnecessary things. We don't swear, because that is not the sign of a Muslim. That is not what a Muslim does. We don't backbite. We safeguard our tongue. We make sure we safeguard our hands as well, because this was a fasting of our hands as well, where we don't use our hands unnecessarily towards others. We don't hit anyone, etc. Likewise, it was the fasting of our eyes, where we don't unnecessarily look at unlawful things, illicit things, where we control our gazes. Likewise, it was the fasting of our ears as well, where we don't listen to unlawful things. Likewise, it was the fasting of our feet as well, where we don't walk towards sin, etc. So in this month of Ramadan, one of the main qualities that we're supposed to have learned is the quality of self-control in our whole body. And we need to maintain this throughout the year. Another lesson, important lesson that we learned in Ramadan was the lesson of instilling into ourselves the fervor to do good deeds. So doing good deeds at all times, no matter how minute they are and no matter how minute they were in Ramadan. Because in Ramadan, a person is spiritually uplifted. And because he is spiritually uplifted, he has the fervor in himself to do good deeds. And whenever he gets the chance to do good deeds, no matter how minute it may be, especially when it comes to charity, etc., he latches on to the chance of carrying out the good deeds. So we need to maintain this throughout the whole year as well, no matter how minute the good deed may be in our eyes. Because we never know what good deed, no matter how minute it may be, it could be the means of our salvation from hellfire. It could be the means of our admittance to paradise. It comes in one narration that on the Day of Judgment, there will be a person, he will come in front of Allah the Almighty. He would have done no good deeds whatsoever in his life. However, Allah the Almighty, He will place the judgment that enter paradise. And obviously this is shocking for a person that's not done no good deeds in his life. However, the reason Allah the Almighty will admit him to paradise is because once, when he was in this world, he was walking through a pathway. And in the middle of the pathway, there was something in the way that could be harmful for the passers-by after him. So, out of a good intention, he thought, let me move this thing out of the way. So he moved this thing out of the way so it doesn't act like a harm for those that will walk or pass after him. And this was out of a good intention. And this was a good deed. It may look minute in our eyes, but it was a good deed. Allah the Almighty, He loved this action so much that it comes in the narration that on Day of Judgment, Allah will admit him to paradise. So we can see from this that, moving something harmful from the pathway, it may be something minor, something minute in our eyes, but we never know. If we do it with a good intention, with the intention solely for Allah the Almighty, then it could be the means of our admittance to paradise, could be the means of our freedom from hellfire, and that's what we want. That's our ultimate goal. That's why we have come to this world. The ultimate purpose of our creation is to worship Allah the Almighty. That's why we have come to this world. And obviously, doing good deeds, acting upon good deeds, no matter how minute they may be, no matter how minor they may be, it comes and falls under worship. And that's why we've come to this world. Allah the Almighty mentions in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created jinn no mankind but for my worship. So we have come to this world to worship Allah. So we need to keep this in mind at all times, that am I fulfilling the purpose of my creation? Whenever we carry out any action, we need to ask ourselves, will Allah be happy with me? If yes, then I will carry out. If Allah won't be happy with me, then no, I will not carry out. Because this is our ultimate purpose of life, the purpose of creation. And remember, whenever we get the chance to do any good deed, we shouldn't think it to be minor, we should carry out at all times. A story comes to mind where once there was this old lady, and she used to live in the villages of the Indo-Pak subcontinent at that time, and she never used to do any extra acts in her life. She used to act upon the compulsory actions, so 5-time daily salah, the fasting in Ramadan, etc. But she never used to do any supererogatory acts. Came the time of her death. When she was on her deathbed, then she was uttering some words. She was saying in Arabic, هَذَانِ الرَّجُلَانِ يَقُولَانِ أُدْخُلِ الْجَنَّةِ. Now, her family members, they weren't well versed in Arabic, so they never knew what she was saying. So the first thing that came to mind was that we need to call the Imam Sahib of our local masjid, because he may know Arabic, and the youngsters of the household, they were well versed in Arabic in the sense that they used to recite Quran. They never understood Arabic, but they used to recite Quran, etc. They had the idea that, she's saying something in Arabic. So they ran to the Imam of the masjid, local Imam. They called him and they explained to him that, quickly come down. Our grandmother's passing away and she's saying something. We need you to find out what she's saying. So the Imam Sahib came and he listened. He put his ear a bit close and he understood what she was saying. Anyway, everything took place. She passed away and her ghusl, she was bathed, etc. And then funeral prayer took place and then she was buried, etc. as per normal. After that, the Imam Sahib spoke with the family members, and the family members obviously asked in detail, what was she saying? So the Imam replied and said, she was saying in Arabic that these two people are saying to me, enter paradise. So then the family members were a bit shocked, saying that when she is saying that these two people are saying to me, enter paradise, who is she referring to? So then the Imam Sahib said that, when a pious person passes away, then his or her eyes of reality open. If any of us have seen any people that have passed away, when they pass away, many a times before they close their eyes or before their eyes are closed, their eyes are really wide open. Why? Because they start visualizing angels, etc. They can start seeing the unseen. So obviously out of shock, they open their eyes really wide. So the Imam Sahib was explaining that when she was saying, these two men are saying to me, enter paradise, she's referring to angels. That these two angels are saying to me, enter paradise. And when pious individuals pass away, before they pass away, they're normally given the glad tidings of paradise on their deathbed at the time of death, or even before they pass away. So this was a pious person of yours. Then the Imam Sahib asked the family that what did she used to do? How did she get this glad tiding of paradise at the time of her death? How was she such a blessed person? So then the family members explained that she never used to do anything extra in life. She used to pray her 5-time daily salah. She used to fast in the month of Ramadan, etc. The obligatory actions that we have to do as Muslims, she used to carry those actions out. However, she used to do one thing constantly, and that was whenever she used to hear the adhan. And in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and in a lot of so-called Islamic countries, the adhan is said on the loudspeakers, so everyone outside could hear, even in the houses, etc. So whenever she used to hear the words of the adhan, no matter what she would be doing, out of respect to the adhan, she would sit down. So whether she would be sewing and knitting clothes, out of respect to the adhan, she would sit down and she would listen to the adhan and she would reply to the adhan like it is sunnah, like it comes in hadith, etc. So she would reply to the adhan. So she used to do this constantly and she used to do it out of respect to the adhan. So it's possible, due to this action that she used to do constantly and out of respecting the adhan, which may be something minor in our eyes, which may be something minute in our eyes. So maybe because of this small action, or it's something that seems small in our eyes, it was maybe because of this Allah the Almighty give her the glad tidings of paradise at the time of her death. So we can see from this, out of respecting the adhan and stopping whatever we are doing and just listening to the adhan and replying to the adhan, it may be something minor, but look what was the outcome of this lady, and look at what happened. She was given the glad tidings of paradise at the time of death. So we can see from this that, whenever we get the chance to do any good deed, no matter how minor, no matter how minute it may be, we should carry it out. And this was one of the fundamental lessons that we learned in Ramadan, instilling into ourselves the fervor to do good deeds at all times, which we should try maintaining, inshallah, throughout the whole year. I pray Allah the Almighty give us all the ability to understand the purpose of our creation. I pray Allah the Almighty give us all the ability to understand the importance of self-control. I pray Allah the Almighty give us all the ability to maintain the spirit of Ramadan outside Ramadan also. And just one more thing is with regards to Sadaqatul Fitr. Many of us are unaware of the rulings of Sadaqatul Fitr. Sadaqatul Fitr is something that is compulsory upon a person upon whom zakat is compulsory, or that person who has the nisab amount of wealth. Such a person has to give Sadaqatul Fitr. Now Sadaqatul Fitr, the obligation comes upon a person on the day of Eid after Fajr Salah. So if a person has not discharged this duty, then he should discharge it now, inshallah, or after Eid prayer. And remember, it's best to give it before Eid prayer, so those poor people around the world that are not being blessed with such happy occasions due to their poverty, etc., they are blessed with the happiness of Eid as well. So the money, etc., is sent to them. But if we've not given it, make sure we give it now. And it's a very small amount, it's only approximately £3 anyway. And those that are elderly and got children, you should give it on their behalf as well. And also it's compulsory upon that person upon whom zakat may be not compulsory. He may not have the nisab equivalent, but excluding his items of necessity, he has equivalent to the nisab amount. So he has equivalent to approximately £214 or more. So items of necessity will be household items, your house, your car. So excluding these items of necessity, if you've got wealth or anything, assets or anything that is equivalent to in value to approximately £240 or more, then Sadaqatul Fitr is compulsory upon you. So inshallah, if you haven't given it, then make sure you do give it, because it's a compulsion and obligation. I pray Allah the Almighty give us all the ability to act upon everything that has been said. Ameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.